All right, everybody, welcome to mid-January 2026. This is an all zodiac reading video. In the beginning of this video, I'm going to lay out the astrology of what's happening from the midpoint of 2026, which is where we are now, to the end of January. And then I'm going to take you sign by sign from Capricorn all the way around to Sagittarius and do a reading for each one of you in this particular energy. Okay, the energy signature that we're dealing with right now is Capricorn energy. We have Venus, Mars, Sun, Mercury in Capricorn. As we advance through the middle to the end of the month, all of those planets will move into Aquarius. So what's so interesting about this, there's a lot of interesting things about this, but what's number one on my mind right now is that Capricorn ruled by Saturn. Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn in the traditional astrological schools, and not the modern school, right? Once we discovered Uranus, then there you go, ruling Aquarius. But originally, Saturn was also the ruler of Aquarius. And Saturn energy expresses very differently in the sign of Capricorn than it does the sign of Aquarius. So even though that planet is still in Pisces, it's going to be moving into Aries. And we're going to have in February, and this major conjunction of Saturn and Neptune happening in February. Yes, all of those things. That's when we'll really be talking about Saturn, the planet. But for Capricorn and Aquarius, these two places, you have Capricorn and Aquarius in your birth chart somewhere. They're right next to each other. And the planets moving from Capricorn have an overarching energy of Saturn. And when they move into Aquarius, there's also Saturn influence there. What I mean by how it expresses differently is Capricorn energy is about building a structure, and Aquarius energy is about releasing that structure. Okay. And that's how you can see Saturn kind of at work in both of the signs. Now, I'll just take you through the astrology here. And like I said, then I'll go into it more I will go through each of the zodiac signs and give you a reading. First thing that's going to happen is we have this like parade of planets, Venus, Sun, Mercury, Mars, all moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. So right now, the Sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury expressing through the energy of Capricorn. And Capricorn is about let's build something, let's follow the rules, let's have discipline, and all of that. And so the planet of Venus is about my self-worth, and I'm creating structures for that self-worth or that underpin that self-worth. When I'm seeing Venus transiting through that house, whatever house you have it in, Venus is expressing in terms of love. It's expressing in terms of your self-worth and how you see yourself in the world. And Capricorn says you can build something based on that. The Sun moving through Capricorn every year is expressing that energy of making something tangible and solid, right? Making something tangible and solid. Mercury is about expressing ourselves. It's about communication and messages that come about lessons and things we have built in the past or things we're building right now. Mercury transiting through Capricorn, maybe saying to us like, I have to walk my talk. What I say has to become real and tangible, or it's just ephemera, right? And then there's Mars, right? Mars transiting through Capricorn. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars loves Capricorn because Capricorn says, hey, we got to build this. And Mars says, I'm going to put energy and time into that. Okay. So Venus moving into Aquarius on the 17th of January, the Sun moving into Aquarius on the 19th of January, Mercury moving into Aquarius on the 20th of January, and then Mars moving into Aquarius on the 23rd of January. So this is known as a stellium. There's more than 3 planets, and it's a cluster, right? They're all really tightly packed. And so they're expressing all together. They're sort of in a party expressing with each other about what we're building, right? And each of them looking at it in a different way. When those planets move into Aquarius, this stellium in the early degrees of Aquarius, And remember, Pluto is sitting right there in the early degrees of Aquarius. Pluto is about power. Aquarius is about rebellion. So Venus moving through, Venus coming through and talking to Pluto, saying, how do I express my feminine power? How do I express my self-worth, right? To rip up the structures that no longer serve me. The Sun, how can I express myself? How can I bring clarity to a situation that seems to be disintegrating, that seems to be going in a million different directions? Aquarius is about, you got to innovate, you got to change, you can't stand still. And the Sun's like shining a light on that. The Sun coming into contact with Pluto, that's a Pluto Cazimi. So that means that Pluto is being expressed more loudly, right? It expands it, it combusts it, it brings it out. So there's a real awareness of a soul revolution, soulful revolution, right? Just saying. There's a real feeling of a soulful revolution that's happening as the Sun passes by Pluto. Mercury coming through, there's the conversation around that. There's the communication around that. What does it mean? What's the new story we're telling? And then Mars. Wow. Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Expect rebellion. Expect loud rebellion. Okay? And when we have those kinds of things in our own personal life, and you can see that on the world stage, but like in our own personal life, there's sort of this sense of like, I've been building things and I've been doing good things for myself and I've been putting my money where my mouth is and I've been taking advantage of this Mars discipline about really putting time and energy towards something. But am I building for the future? Am I doing that? So you may have, depending on where what houses are in your birth chart in Capricorn and Aquarius. And I will say those to you as I take you through each of the signs. You're going to see that you may be like, okay, I spent a lot of time and energy building something that I feel like doesn't express what I truly wanted to express. Because I'm changing, I'm innovating, I'm embracing new timelines as I go toward the future. So I can't like drag along this rickety old structure that was built for another time. It's time to sort of pull that up, right? The lessons in Aquarius with Saturn ruling Aquarius, it's time to build, sort of pull things up by the roots. But more importantly, with Aquarius, there's going to be new ideas, lots of downloads, lots of aha moments, lots of, oh, wow, this is what it could be, right? This is what it could be. The star card in the tarot is Aquarius, and that means hope. But you got to put energy into it, right? Saturn rules Aquarius. You got to put energy into it. So new concepts, new tools, new ideas, new thinking are going to come through. So it's not just about ripping up and having rebellion and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, then what? What's next? What do you want? And this is going to be an incredibly important part of this end of January and into Aquarius time. Of course, in February, we have, not only are we in Aquarian season, but we have an eclipse in Aquarius that's happening in February. And I will go into more detail in the February reading. We also have a Mercury retrograde happening. Mercury is going to retrograde. It's going to move all the way into Pisces and then retrograde in Pisces. So we're going to have that going on. And then later on, we have this lunar eclipse in Virgo. When we have eclipses, it signals, there's a lot of things it does, but one of the things I'm really paying attention to this year is the movement of the North Node into Aquarius and the South Node into Leo. The movement of the North Node, it's a node of the moon, into Aquarius, is about embracing this kind of new future. Aquarius is very futuristic. It's very innovative. It's like it, and it doesn't have a lot of sentimentality for the old stuff. We're not going to stand on ceremony about some of these things. Just got to go. Okay. So, and Saturn's like, that's fine. We're doing it, right? We're putting the effort into it. We're doing it. This is how you would get that done. So let's go through each of the zodiac signs and let's talk about, and I want you to look at these zodiac signs. I want you to watch your rising sign, because I'm going to talk about where this falls, what houses, what parts of your life are impacted by this shift, by what's happening. We're going to start with Capricorn rising. We're going to go all the way around to Sagittarius rising. Pay attention to your rising sign. But I also want you to pay attention to Sun and Moon secondarily, and just grab some key words from those. You don't have to pay attention to necessarily which houses they're impacting or whatever, but the fact is your Sun and Moon may also be very important information that you need to hear, and you can just add it into your rising sign reading. I'm going to pull some cards for each sign going through as well to give you a sense of a little more information that might want to come through a channeling session. So let's do that. Let's go right now. All right, let's start with Capricorn. Okay, we are still in Capricorn season. So I'm going to start with Capricorn. This is for Capricorn rising. Like I said, check your rising sign first and then look at your Sun and Moon and just take some keywords from those readings. In the readings, I'm going to give you a sense of the houses that it's going to impact most. So for you, Capricorn, Capricorn rising, that impacts your first house of identity. So what you have been building as a human identity, who do you think you are? And will that sustain progress? Okay, will that be a long-term thing? Because the Aquarian energy is in your second house of values, self-worth, how you make money. Are those two things aligned for the long term? Are you being the person that you say you are in your job? Or is there a big disconnect there? And is there room for progress? If you are somebody who is building, you're building your identity right now, or you're adding to this kind of experience that you're having about who you're expressing into the world, your self-awareness, but your job, you're a totally different person. Like, you're a leader, you're a healer, but yet you're in a job that makes you feel small. That might need to change. Okay. So Capricorn, what's going on for you? I'm going to do this. Capricorn. All right. Capricorn for you, relief. Wow. Some of you may feel that what you're building or what you're trying to build or what you're putting on this planet in terms of you, I feel like there's a big disconnect here. Okay. That you're going to be bridging the gap. Some of you are going to move away from an identity that's an old identity and really step into a new you. And that's going to make the money flow easier because it's more authentic. Okay. It's more authentic. What wants to come through for my Capricorn friends right now? And that will be a relief. Okay. That will be a relief. Underneath is the Page of Cups. Three of Wands. Expect this, right? I feel like you're asking this to come in, but you've maybe have been a little afraid of it coming in. Ten of Swords, putting an ending to an old, oh, good. Look at this. Ace of Pentacles, something tangible. I feel like, okay, so 10 of Swords is ideas. You're putting a period dot. It's so funny that you're getting this Ace of Pentacles. You're putting a period dot to the you thought you were. Some kind of very romantic energy here about, I thought I was like a real, I don't know, fill in the blank. Whatever you have been thinking about yourself and whatever you've been thinking you're doing, you're not really doing that. It's not going to stand the test of time. It's like, I'm just plugging myself in how I think other people will accept me, but you have a very different identity that needs to be expressed. Tower, Sun, oh, beautiful energy. Queen of Cups and the Six of Swords. I can see you going toward a beautiful connection now because you're being your real authentic self. You're not allowing what other people think, what other people expect of you, what other people see of you to be a disguise, to be a mask. You want it to be the most authentic you can be. And boy howdy, going into the second house of Aquarius, all of these planets are going to release this idea in you about like, how can I express myself authentically and create money? Or maybe you stayed in an old identity because it was a job. And now it's like, nope, I'm going to plant the seed of this new identity. You're moving forward. I love this. Four of Wands. This is definitely a romantic connection. This doesn't have to be, second house can also be your own worth and value. And maybe you've been very much selling yourself short in terms of a romantic relationship. You're not getting the love you want because you're pretending to be somebody you're not. Wow. Okay, just know that this is likely to be accentuated in the rest of January as we move into Aquarius time. All right, so let's move on to Aquarius. Aquarius, this Capricorn energy is hitting your 12th house of spiritual connection. And you may have been feeling like it was important to really build this. I agree. Okay. I agree, Aquarius. It's important for you to build that spiritual connection. Look at there's Saturn. This is a karmic path that you're being asked to walk. There may be something very different coming through this spiritual, I don't know, some of you may feel very alone. Some of you may be feeling extremely aligned with God right now. And so how you're showing up in the future, like in many ways is very much like Capricorn, like you're very much showing up your real authentic self. And this is but as a spiritual being, much more than you have been. Okay. Not a religious being, a spiritual being. And that is a big shift. Okay. So for Aquarius underneath, expect this to come in. Ace of Cups, new beginnings. Yeah. Four of Pentacles, been resisting this for a long time. Oh yeah. Two of Swords, Knight of Swords, Eight of Cups, the Empress. Wow. And the outcome, this is the authentic energy that you're now expressing. I feel like some of you are stepping into becoming the Empress. This is very, really understanding your own identity, your own connection of earth, water, air, fire, your own connection to God, your own connection. And it's really changing the direction of your path. Look at this. It's a complete about face. I feel like some of you have been angry that you're kind of forced into doing this. But you're stepping into such power, such spiritual power and authenticity. It is a complete shift. This reading is really for those of you. The lesson is going to be like, you've really got to let go of the old identity. Got a lot of opportunities coming in for you to express yourself more powerfully. And for some of you, this could even be like some big downloads, big ahas coming through, big information coming through that you may not have expected. I feel like at first you're kind of angry about this. Like, no. I know what direction I'm going in. I know what I want to do. I'm going to hold on to some of these other things. You can't hold on. Some of you may want to watch the morning message I do on Wednesday, the 14th, when I talk about like holding on to an old identity and holding on to an old experience. Like the boat is leaving the dock. This new identity is coming through your awareness, like washing over you. And you're like, yeah, but But here's the thing, Aquarius, embracing this new truth is really going to set you free. Okay. It's really going to set you free. So I like that for you, and expect it. Expect it to come in. Okay. So let's talk to Pisces now. What is going on for my Pisces? You have Pisces rising, Pisces ascendant has Capricorn in the 11th house. Okay. So Capricorn in the 11th house is about, maybe you've been building networks, coalitions, friend groups. And this is beautiful energy of trining, right? The 11th house Capricorn with your rising sign is, sextiling. It's sextiling. It means that you have to activate the energy. So let me try to frame this so I'm not like stepping all over myself here. An ascendant Pisces, you are definitely seeing how friends, relatives, networks, social groups and online groups are going to have the positive ability. Wow, why can't I say this? Have the positive ability to change your life, but you have to activate it. It is a sextile. A sextile doesn't work unless you activate it. So yeah, I've done all this work of building those networks, but nothing is going to change unless I do something about it. Okay. And when all of that energy comes out of Capricorn into your 12th house, this is a rebellion of your spiritual, who you thought you were, who I pretended to be, or who I expressed myself to be. I just feel like some of you are going to have some real downloads, real connection with spirit that is going to shine a light on that coalition I built, or that group of people I built, or that friend group I built. Is that going to withstand the spiritual me that's emerging? Will I be able to sustain those friendships or sustain this level of recognition in my life now, and knowing that I'm becoming something very different? Okay, you're becoming something very different. Will those friend groups stick around? I spent all that time building them. Meditate. So Aquarius is in your 12th house, and this is about maybe withdrawing. You might be withdrawing from these friend groups very suddenly. You might feel a need to go inward and focus on your own spiritual progress, more important than building these coalitions in some ways. All right. So underneath is the 9 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands. There's something about recognition here. The world, how you're seen by the world. King of Wands, 6 of Wands. So the Fool, 6 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the outcome is the 8 of Pentacles. There's definitely something here shifting from a lot of fame and recognition, or wanting that in your life, wanting people to want to being a leader, or like a some kind of, not spiritual leader. No, because I think that's who you're becoming. I think you're moving away from becoming like this, I'm a senior VP in this corporation, and I'm doing this work for this collective, and I'm getting all these recognition and all these awards and all this kind of stuff. This is actually like Jim Carrey. This reminds me of Jim Carrey, that, he built this successful acting career, but then he just shifted right out of it, and he became this spiritual leader, this person who was just like, that was all nonsense. I mean, even though he did want that, and he was like, yes, I want that, that check he wrote for himself, $10 million and all that kind of stuff. And he was very talented and all of that. But now what's important to him is something different. And I feel like that's what's happening here. You might be stepping into being a real spiritual leader. There's a rebellion energy to what I had built, versus I'm stepping into something totally different. I'm wanting to build something. I mean, Queen of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles, I built that, but now look at me. I'm the fool and I'm walking a new path. I'm on this new shore. I'm completely changing. And I have this leadership about that, meaning spiritual leadership rather than this group coalition that I've built. So if you have had a lot of success in your career, then this may be changing for you because you don't care about it anymore. If you haven't had a lot of success in a career, but you've had a lot of success with friends or with, being part of a group or part of something you feel strongly about, and now you're kind of like, the spiritual thing is taking over. Okay. I feel like the spiritual thing is taking over for Pisces rising. So just keep in mind that you may be getting a ton of downloads, and it's going to maybe direct you in a completely different way of doing your life. All right. So heads up, Pisces, on that. All right. So Aries, you have Capricorn in the 10th house of your career. And that's definitely about building, right? Capricorn energy in the 10th house is the natural placement for Capricorn. So this is basically saying to you that, like, you might be somebody who's very good at this, who's very good at building a career. With all of those planets moving into your 11th house, I feel like, and that is, you might be seeking out more community. You may be stepping into being like a protest leader, or somebody who says, actually, the collective is more important to me than me building my little nest egg, my little fiefdom. Like, I'm not interested in doing that anymore. So the Capricorn house, the 10th house, is squaring your rising sign of Aries. So there can be some tension around this in your building of your life, in your building of your career, which is completely alleviated by you stepping into being, a leader of the resistance. Okay, that could be happening for you. There's Earth. This is a money consideration. Aries, a money consideration. And this may be something you've struggled with for a long time that's about to be shifted, getting a lot of downloads in terms of, is it really important, this thingamabob that we build? Is this really important in the big scheme of life? Like, look at what's happening on the earth. Look what's happening to the environment. Why are we using these plastics? Why are we doing this? Like, all of a sudden, like, moving away from an old part of you that said, this is perfectly fine for me to stay in this structure kind of build. And actually, I want to say to you, if this happens, if this does shift in your life, then Saturn and Neptune moving into your first house of identity, Aries, big changes coming for you. That's right. Ace of Swords. Big shift, big change. You may not care about money anymore. May not be a thing for you. Queen of Pentacles, right now, I see that. There's the Aries energy of the Emperor and the Tower. Hermit, wow. Four of Cups, the Empress, Emperor, Empress, and the Eight of Cups. Some of you, I feel like some of you guys have really spent so much time focusing on your own safety and security that the you're becoming is going to be a complete upending of the person you thought you were. Aries, you're going to have Saturn and Neptune, like I said, coming into your first house of identity. And I'm seeing this for sure, that there could be some kind of expression of like blowing up that career. Okay, blowing up that career could be somebody who is like kind of a dominion, someone who is, this is your energy, but someone who tries to take dominion over your career or dominion over what you have built. And that basically forces you into a place of wisdom. It basically forces you into this hermit space, this thing where you get away from all of the effort and time you've put in. You're like not seeing the wisdom in it anymore. Okay. So Empress here, I love this Venus energy, because Venus says, what do I What do I really value now? And that is taking you on a different tack. If you have really valued racking up a lot of money and stock options and things like that, you may not care about that anymore at all. Okay. So that is for Aries. That is for Aries. Now, let's see. Let's move on to Taurus. Taurus, Capricorn is in your 9th house of belief systems. So what are the ideals you've clung to or explored? What are the things that you believe beyond any kind of experiential sort of experience? Okay. But beyond any kind of experience that you've had, you have these ideals, and they're about safety and security, right? And so now, you've built accordingly. But something is about to change. Something is about to change. And I've built my life, Taurus is a trine to Capricorn. So there's just this nice energy of, yes, I'm building my life based on safety. And now, with all of this energy in Aquarius, and especially moving into February, you could really rebrand yourself. You could really decide that you are having trouble with this just safety and security belief system. And instead, you want to do something that molds and shapes, generations, or molds and shapes the future in a bigger way. It's not just about my safety and security. There may be a career path that shows up that's much, much bigger. Okay. Yeah. Transformation. Big changes afoot for Taurus. I've been seeing that for a while. All right. The belief systems you've clung to may turn out to not be all they were cracked up to be. You might have believed in tradwife stuff, or you believed in, and then it ends up being like, oh my God, I didn't build my 401k. I didn't build anything, and I'm out on the street or something like that, whatever. But there's definitely something that's coming along that says you might need to build something yourself that has a far-reaching impact. Maybe you care about the environment. Maybe you care about kids. Maybe you care about something that you have cared about personally is changing because of the environment, because of what's going on in the world. 3 of Cups underneath. Yeah, 3 of Swords. Wow, look at this. Justice. You may be seeing a lot of injustice in the world. Ace of Swords. And it's not okay anymore. Not doing this anymore. There's the World, the Wheel of Fortune, the Sun, and the outcome is the 6 of Pentacles. There's something here about balancing the scales, because Justice is obviously the scales, and then he's got the scales here too. So you could see a lot of, maybe you have, okay, so there's a couple things. I feel like some of you are now needing to balance what you have built so far in your life. If you have built your life so far on a very traditional kind of life, a new truth comes through you that says, that's not important to me, or that's not going to be important in the future. It's not progress. It's not where we're going to go. And boy, this is very destined, fated kind of energy. The World, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Happiness card. Some of you have an ending coming in a traditional life that you thought was safe and secure, and you're going to have to use these new truths that come through to you now to balance the scales. Maybe balance in terms of money, or balance in terms of time or energy. And I'm putting time and energy toward building a business versus building a home. Something like that. Something like that. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah. I feel a 9 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Swords. I hate to say this, but Taurus, I feel like some of you allowed other people to have power in your life that aren't going to follow through on that. And it's time for you to build your own, whatever that is. I also feel like some of you have a truth coming through that maybe you have had your eyes closed to for a long time, but you can't avoid it anymore. This is going to be a big change for Taurus. We're moving from this 9th house of belief systems into the 10th house of career. And you deserve safety. You might be really branching out. You might be really making some big changes so that you can have what you want and not outsourcing your safety or security anymore. Not doing that anymore. Okay. I'm doing this for myself. Like an aha moment coming to you. Okay. That's for Taurus. Now for Gemini, you have Capricorn in the 8th house of death and transformation. And something is going to become real to you. Okay. Something is going to become real. And maybe the end of something becomes real. Psychic. Okay. The end of something becomes real. This is also 8th house. 8th house is, maybe you thought you had some intuitive gifts, but you really didn't know for sure that you were psychic or that you were, that you had these capabilities. So something is becoming real to you. And I feel like it does upend who you thought you were. Okay. It does completely upend who you thought you were. Your identity gets upended. And this may be something that ultimately says to you, okay, I'm going to rebuild my belief systems because now the psychic source is opening to me. I'm rebuilding like what I believe is true in the world or how I experience the world. I'm completely rebuilding it. Underneath is the 4 of Pentacles, holding on to the past. 6 of Wands, the victory card. I like that. Your situation is your Lover's card. That's you. Death. There's the 8th house. You've made some kind of choice. 10 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, Page of Swords, and the outcome is the 6 of Swords. So I feel like you've put a lot of time and energy into an intimate relationship. Intimacy. And that's what the 8th house is all about. It's about what really goes on behind the scenes. You had put a lot of time and energy into real, true intimacy, and you're getting the message that it's not that it wasn't true intimacy. It's just that it's not what you thought it was. That relationship is not what you thought it was. It was a lot less. This person gave, you might have thought this person was being a loving spouse, but really they were just giving you breadcrumbs. Like you don't really know that because you only know your experience. But now the psychic senses are opening up and you're like, wow, that person isn't giving me very much at all. Queen of Wands, 9 of Wands, Page of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles. So this is about you becoming more stable and solid on your own. I feel like some of you could be moving away from a marriage, moving away from a relationship that we do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. I feel like it can be that the person in your partnership can be moving away from you. Okay, that can be happening. And the psychic sense of you, the spidey sense is going, now what? That's moving away from me. So this could be happening over the course of the next 2 months, where when you move into that 9th house of Aquarian belief systems, it's like, I've got to branch out. I've got to get out of this like mindset that I've been in. I've got to transform out of this. Like there's no going back. Okay. There's no going back. So I really, I love that the psychic, it's like you're getting some kind of spidey sense that something is coming to an end. And with let's see, that's Leo energy. I see Leo, Scorpio, something is coming to an end. Fool, there's a new path though. Fool, Star, there's Aquarius, Three of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords. Okay, there's new partnerships coming in. There's new opportunities coming in. I feel like for both of you, I just feel like that what was going on behind the scenes was not at all what you really want. And so you're coming out of, you're not in resonance with that relationship anymore. All right, Cancer, let's see what's going on for you, Cancer rising. So Capricorn would be in your 7th house of marriage partners, business partners, things along those lines. Important connections, very important, like one-to-one. These are like you only have like 1 or 2 of these in your life at a time, right? And so this may be about like, I spent a lot of time and effort building this thing, building this relationship. And then all of this energy moves into the 8th house of death and transformation. So something significant could happen as it relates to shared resources. So something with a business partner could change, or something with a marriage could change. And it does have to do with a major transformation of it. So it doesn't mean it's ending. It could be going deeper. It could be that like we're, getting engaged, and then all of a sudden we're living together, and shared resources comes into view. Okay. So Cancer. So let's see what's going on here. Grounded. That's very Capricornian energy. I'm just saying, like, so this could be like the deepening of a relationship or the death of a relationship. Which part of the spectrum are you on right now? Okay. So let's see what's happening with my Cancerians. Little reading for you. Get grounded. This is the World coming out. 10 of Cups. That is a 10. And then we go to 1, right? Then, adding 1 and 0 together, we go to 1. Ace of Cups coming in. The 9 of Wands. Knight of Pentacles. I feel like some of you are coming to the end of a cycle with a person. So again, it could be deepening that relationship, like it's time to get going to the next level, or it's a complete ending of a relationship. And this is Virgo energy. It's going to take some time and effort by you in order for this transition to happen. All right. 8 of Wands, communication, like to get yourself free or to get yourself to this next chapter. It's going to take some courage as well. That's Leo energy. Going to take you to the next level. Ooh, yes. And Aries energy. Beautiful. I feel like you're being set free a little bit here. 9 of Swords. It can feel a little bit upending for you that you're getting free of a long-term relationship, or someone is setting you free. There's going to be a conversation. All right. There's going to be some kind of conversation that you've been thinking about for a while, and it's going to take some courage. All right. So that's Leo, and this is Aries energy. It's going to send you in a new direction. So this 9 of Wands, 9 of Swords, 9 of Wands is about a closing cycle as it relates to, well, I'm not going to do the same thing again. So maybe you're transitioning into a deepening relationship, but I'm not going to drag with me what I did in my last relationship. I'm going to do things differently. Could be causing some anxiety here. 7 of Pentacles, how much time and effort I put into it. There's the Hermit, the Wisdom, more Virgo energy. There's your card, Cancerian, and the 5 of Wands. This is going to cause some conflict, no matter which direction you're going in, whether you're letting go of a relationship or going deeper. I feel like you have something to say that is going to be good for you, but may be challenging to the relationship itself. Either it ends it completely, or there's a real deepening, and now you've got to kind of massage it. Like, what did we just agree to, kind of a thing? Okay, so heads up with that. It could cause you some anxiety. Something you're saying is forcing a conflict or forcing you to have a conversation that maybe you don't want to have. That can be too. All right. So that's for my Cancerians. That's for my Cancerians. So Leo, for you, this means you have Capricorn in your 6th house of day-to-day routines. Something you have been doing to keep yourself healthy, right? Keep yourself in good shape. Maybe you've taken on a workout regimen. Maybe you've done, like, you've changed your eating habits or your drinking habits or something, and it's been very good. You've been building this. But all of a sudden, you now have a partnership and the other person is like screwing up your routine. Okay? The other person is like, maybe this person eats a lot of junk food. Maybe this person drinks a lot. Maybe this person, they want to go out all the time. And you're like, oh, I've been really doing a good job of talisman of standing my ground. But when it's only me, who am I standing my ground against? I'm not standing my ground against anybody. I'm just like, I'm just doing what I want. But when there's another person in the midst here that has different ideas about things, that may cause some conflict. All right. That may cause some conflict. So let's see what the reading has to say for you, Leo. King of Swords underneath. Libra energy there. So 4 of Cups. I've been resisting this shift. You can't resist it anymore. All those planets are moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. There's no resisting it. Okay, there's no resisting it. King of Pentacles. That's very Capricornian energy. Opportunity is the Knight of Cups. The 5 of Swords. Ooh, 10 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, King and Queen of Pentacles, and the 7 of Wands. I feel like you have an opportunity, Leo. I feel like you have an opportunity to go in a direction. Like you're wanting a partner that's very stable and solid. But the offer that comes in is someone who's not that. And I feel like you're still working through issues with parents, issues with your father, issues with your mother, something like that. And you could have also had another relationship that is being echoed in this. I feel like you might run away. I feel like you might have an ending with a potential partner. It's possible because it reminds you too much of the past, or there's something about it, like this person is kind of forcing you out of your comfort zone too much. And I feel like that's something that you're just like, no, not doing that. You know, Aquarian energy is very much of pushing you outside of your comfort zone. But honestly, like, you have Aquarius in that 7th house. So this partner, maybe it could be a past partner too, that is pushing you in a direction that is going to screw with your money. Right? They're making you do something, or you're not really wanting this because it's going to mess with your stability. And so there's a resistance here. This 7 of Wands says, I don't really think I want to do that. There's a argument, there's a fight here. Okay. Knight of Pentacles, King of Cups. What is all these people coming in? Page of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles. I feel like you might try to make a better deal. You've worked really hard to get where you are, and this deal threatens to upend you because it's taking away some kind of freedom. And, you know, I feel like, well, hold on. It's taking away freedom, but the freedom isn't like an Aquarian freedom of like, there's no boundaries here. Each one of us gets to do what we want. It's like the opposite of that. It can be that you want to get things nailed down. That feels good to you, that feels freeing to you, to have all the details highlighted. And this person's like, no way, I don't want that. I don't want. So there's definitely a clash here. And I'm going to say to you that there's other people, other opportunities that are trying to come in. This may be not too small for you, but you may be thinking too small. All right. You may be thinking too small, that this is the only opportunity that's ever going to come in. And if this is a person from the past, if you did connect with this person and it's upending some stuff right now, it's because you were thinking too small back then. Okay. And now it's like it's time to pay the piper for thinking too small. All right. Just saying. But one of the things you may not be aware of is how much it echoes your parents or your family system. And that might be a place to look or that's what this is. That's why this is here. It's sort of reflecting back to you some need for you to look at your own past, your upbringing, and, sort of the unconscious belief systems that you hold deeply, Leo. Okay. All right. Now, Virgo, what's happening for Virgo? Woo! Soulmate coming in. Soulmate energy coming in. Where? I need this deck here. So Virgo, you have Capricorn in the 5th house. That's the Capricorn. That's a pretty heavy place to have Capricorn, because the 5th house is the place of creative self-expression and fun and joy and all good things that are like completely freeing. Capricorn is not that. All right. So that can mean that the Capricorn energy being there doesn't mean that you're like a buzzkill in terms of having fun, but it can mean that you have some very strict ideas or how things should go in like a romantic partnership. There's rules to these things. There's structures to these things. And that 5th house really doesn't want that structure, right? So you've been struck. This is where you have Capricorn, the 5th house. You've had it your whole life. But there may be something that's pushing against the boundary of that. You may have spent too much time and effort in fun and hobbies or in a love relationship. And now with all that energy moving into Aquarius 6th house, you could be getting more serious with a person. But there is something freeing about it by having it have a day-to-day routine. I almost feel like this could be the other person that doesn't really want to be nailed down to a day-to-day routine. But then there's something, maybe you start living together or something like that, and you loosen up a little bit. Okay, Virgo, because you're an earth sign too. You might loosen up with this person. It might be a lot better. Or you might be able to spend time and effort on your hobbies and on fun, while still having this routine. Like it's not really upending it, but let's see what goes on with the reading. So there's the 3 of Cups underneath, Queen of Pentacles, the Lover's card, the Queen of Swords. You got a choice coming up here, Virgo. Air sign, Gemini, Aquarius. There's the Aries energy of Emperor, 4 of Wands, the Hermit, and the outcome is the Page of Cups. So there's something here about wanting to, like really wanting to commit, but feeling, I don't know, this energy of Aries is like, I'm dominating. The energy of Virgo here, you're getting your own card. The energy of Virgo is like, but I know what's going on, right? Virgo is very wise. And it's like you're coming together and you're having to make some kind of, I don't know what the word is. Yes, I do. Compromise. Some kind of compromise. And I feel like one of you tell me who this is. I feel like one of you has a tendency to be maybe a little more bullying or a little more, let's just say, self-assured, wanting to push things in a certain direction. Like, if we're going to have fun, we're going to double down on fun. We are going to go on vacation. We're going to do a big deal. Right. And there's something here about like, hold on, I'm not sure I want to do what you want to do. So if there can be some kind of collaboration or working together on what we do together, there's going to be some sharp conversation. Okay, Virgo, there's going to be some sharp conversation. Like, you may not want to have a lot of responsibilities. Okay, and the other person um is like angling for this to become much more committed. So just know that you might be, given an opportunity to get more serious. The outcome is the Page of Cups. So I feel like you might not offer as much as they want, but they might not give you as much as you want. So there's something about a compromise here that might be coming in for you in the end of January. All right, that's for Virgo. Now we're moving on to Libra. What's going on for Libra? New moon in Capricorn. That's really nice. You have Capricorn in the fourth house, the house of like building the nest, right? What makes you feel nurtured. So Capricorn is kind of nice there. I mean, it is the natural home of Cancer. So it's the opposite of Capricorn. Capricorn's father energy, Cancer's mother energy. You have Capricorn in the house of mother energy. So this is about building the nest. This is about putting time and effort into building the nest. Aquarius is the fifth house, the house of all of a sudden love, romance, fun, joy, right? And you may be very focused on building your nest or what makes you feel safe and secure in your home and things like that. All of a sudden, all of that energy moves into Aquarius in the fifth house, and like, we're out, we're enjoying ourselves, we're having a good time, we're doing fun things, we're not caring about let's go to Home Depot on Saturday. That's just not a thing. Okay, so Libra, what's going on here? Six of Wands, please. Five of Wands. There's some conflict here. Page of Cups, there's an apology coming. Libra, there's your card. You're always working to balance the situation. I know you are. Eight of Swords, Page of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles. So there's more here than meets the eye. There's conflict in a connection that you are dealing with. I feel like you're doing very well. I feel like everything is going very well, Libra. And, building this home, building this nest, building your work, building whatever you're doing. And then all of a sudden, there's something that comes in that kind of tips you over with this Page of Cups. It kind of is like, oh my God, what's happening here? What's happening here? So your energy, this opportunity, your energy comes in and says, okay, I'm going to balance things. I'm going to pay attention to what's going on. I'm not going to maybe just completely throw over all of the work I've done to build my house. I'm not just going to run away and sell it or something like that. I'm not going to do that. But there's a sense of like, there's something that's holding me hostage a little bit. I'm getting this Eight of Swords is like a mindset. And I almost feel like you're getting a person coming into your life, or you're getting an opportunity coming into your life that is going to help you build in a different direction. It's going to be long-term building. So you could be going from one kind of relationship to a different one. Like maybe you're building, a house and home, and you have people around you doing that, or people around you helping that. But in your mind, inside you, you have this real sense of like, I really want to move to Europe. I don't really want to continue to build what I have. There's conflict here. I'm conflicted. Libra seems conflicted here. Okay. And there's a little offer here, but like, wait a second. All of a sudden I'm getting an offer. Like, do I want this? Do I not want this? So there's kind of this conflict going on, this mindset of like, actually, I really need to get to know myself a little bit better. Libra really needs to know what they want right now, because there are some offers coming through. And don't forget about this new moon in Capricorn. This is a time to plant the seeds for what you truly want, Libra. So if you don't know that, it would behoove you to spend some time figuring that out. Getting to know yourself a little bit better. What is it that I truly want? All right, so that's for Libra. That is for Libra. Now let's move on to Scorpio. what's happening for my, I'm going to put this over here. What's happening for my Scorpios? You have Capricorn in the third house. So third house is about communication, connection, siblings, your environment. And Capricorn there, your life could have been kind of small. Like you're really living in this neighborhood. You're really just focusing on these few friends or these, I feel like a life getting small. Okay, with Capricorn in that third house, with all those planets moving through. Now we're moving into the fourth house, and it's like, hey, all bets are off. What do I want to build in my life? The emphasis changes. Okay, the emphasis changes when all of those planets move into Aquarius. And Aquarius is like, is this gonna be good for me or for the family or for what I'm building long term? Is progress part of this? Okay, so whoops, Scorpio, hold on. Knowledge, self-knowledge too. So knowledge, I'm just gonna put this here, and yeah, I feel like some of you could really make some changes on the home front, okay? Some of you could really move. Some of you could really kind of break out of this maybe small life. I know that's kind of, I don't mean that to be insulting at all. It's just that, you could look at it like, hey, I have a very tight-knit group of friends, or I have a very close-knit neighborhood or something like that, okay? So Scorpio, 3 of Swords underneath. Then I'm getting this King of Wands. So this Aries energy is you. Death, there's your card. Changing big time. Hanged Man. There's action and then inaction. 2 of Wands, the Strength card, the Wheel of Fortune. The outcome is the Ace of Swords. I feel like you're stopping yourself from doing something. Okay? You're right now in Capricorn time, you're stopping yourself from doing something, even though like there's a choice in front of you right now. And it's possible that you've had some hurt in the past that you haven't really healed from, or you haven't really worked through. And now you have a choice. The Strength card is Leo energy, the Wheel of Fortune. This is on your path. And this new knowledge coming in, this can be the reason why things change. This new knowledge. High Priestess, intuitive knowledge, 6 of Swords, 6 of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. So there's movement here. It's almost like you might have been making a decision based on past pain, and now you need to wait for this aha moment. And I feel like the aha moment comes when we have the planets into Aquarius. We have we just finished a new moon in Capricorn. Gonna have a full moon in Leo on the 1st, right? On full moon in Leo, I think on the 1st. Yeah, 1st of February. So there's just something, it's almost like wait, Hanged Man. Don't, this is the opportunity, is to don't make the decision. You may have a new job opportunity. You may have something coming in that's local to you. But in reality, it's like you got to break out of something. All right, Scorpio. So that is what's happening for you. And you got to wait for your intuition to catch up with whatever's going on the ground. Okay? Whatever's happening for you in your life. So Sagittarius, last but not least, Sagittarius, you have Capricorn in the 2nd house. And that's about self-worth and focusing on money and focusing on, putting in time and effort into creating something lasting, financially lasting. And when all those planets move into Aquarius, that is about like your environment. So this can be about expanding your environment, or maybe you're just really head down in your work and it's time to really connect with those around you. Okay, Sag. So hold on one second here. Divine Feminine, certainly last but not least. What is going on with you? All right. Underneath is the Devil card. We've got, you're showing up as the 8 of Wands. So there's a lot of forward movement here. I like this, Sag. going toward what you want in life. 9 of Cups. The Justice card. Very nice. Queen of Wands, Page of Wands, 3 of Wands. Outcome is 2 of Cups. Sag, you have some love coming in. All right, we're moving from that second house to the third house. This person can be, as you're, moving forward in your life, this person could be a Libra or a Capricorn, or Leo. All right. There's definitely something here about embracing, getting excited about moving forward. This 2 of Cups, you're expecting this to come in. I feel like you already know this, Sag. You already know this. I feel like you're getting excited for a new beginning. And Justice is like Libra, but it can be a relationship. Okay, that card. Wheel of Fortune. All right, there's your card. Jupiter. So what is this love relationship trying to come in? It's a little new wave. Aquarius. This is long-term possibility. Could be a friend that turns into a love, somebody younger. King of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. There's Aquarius energy. 2 of Wands and the Emperor. So there's the masculine. This person is likely your masculine, water sign, or the Aquarius energy is basically bringing this person to you. Okay. I feel like they have done a lot of healing work. They've done a lot of healing work and they're coming toward you. They're taking action, and the action is going to be inspired action. This was the relationship in the past. I'm going to cover that up. This was the relationship in the past, or you've had a lot of very toxic relationships. And part of the reason you're in this twin flame connection is to heal that. I feel like you have done what you needed to do. You've been very focused on your own self-worth. And now you're going to be able to navigate a relationship. This was not, the stuff in the past was not self-worth driven. Even though this is Capricorn, like you've overcome that. It was not self-worth driven. 10 of Cups. Wow. This is exactly what you have been wanting. And now here it is. Here it is. Your outcome card is the 2 of Cups. Expect it. So there you go, everybody. That's a little reading for you, a little window into the astrology of the end of January. I will be back with another reading for February. And with that, I will extend all of these readings and do extended readings like I normally do and all of that. But this was just a little small reading, and hopefully it was helpful to you. All right. Thank you. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.